Hello guys and welcome back to the F1 Tube YouTube channel, and in today's video we will be previewing the 2019 French Grand Prix. This weekend kickstarts the first double header of the season, as next week we head to Austria. And to be honest, this is my favourite part of the F1 calendar. French Grand Prix, Austrian Grand Prix, British Grand Prix. I think those trio of races really stand out to me, and it is at the heart of the European season. Teams are pushing to the absolute limits around a month before the summer break. After Ferrari have put in another request to overturn Vettel's penalty from the Canadian Grand Prix, these championship standings are not certain, but at the moment Lewis Hamilton leads by 29 points to his teammate Valtteri Bottas in second. Sebastian Vettel is in third, with Max Verstappen splitting the two Ferraris. You can see Gasly just neglected from both ends. Then we have Sainz, Ricciardo, and then we have Magnussen and Perez rounding out the top 10. But in the bottom half we have Raikkonen, then Norris. Hulkenberg jumps up to 13th. Then we have the two Toro Rossos, then Lance Stroll, then Romain Grosjean, and then our three drivers who have not scored points this season: Alfa Romeo's Antonio Giovinazzi and the Williams boys of Russell and Kubica. Obviously, we don't know the outcome of Ferrari's appeal just yet, but at the moment Mercedes lead by a gargantuan margin, over 120 points from Ferrari in second. Red Bull are in third, McLaren lead the best of the rest in fourth, Renault are right behind them in fifth. This will be a battle to look forward to. Then we have Racing Point in sixth, Toro Rosso are in seventh, Haas disappointingly are down in eighth, Alfa Romeo have been in really dire form recently, they are languishing in ninth, and of course Williams prop up the field. It is at this stage of the season where we see which battles will be forming for the rest of 2019. Let's quickly have a look at the Paul Ricard circuit, which will host the French Grand Prix for a second year in a row. It is 5.842 kilometres long, and it is one of the longest tracks on the F1 calendar. 53 laps will be run on Sunday. 15 corners make up the circuit, and last year's pole lap was a 1:30.029 set by Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton. The track holds some really demanding corners, like the first two chicanes, turns 1 and turns 2, and then turns 3 and turns 4. You obviously have the Mistral straight, which Ferrari need to use to their advantage, but unfortunately we do have that rather irrelevant chicane in the middle, turns 8 and turns 9. And the last sector is full of undulating corners, and you can overtake really anywhere on the Paul Ricard circuit. Only turns 12 and beyond don't offer that opportunity. Let's revisit last year's race, and there was chaos at the start, and I mean there was chaos. There was just so much drama on lap 1 that I struggled to keep up. Vettel locks up into turn 1, then hits Bottas. Bottas gets a puncture. Vettel's got nose damage. Both need to pit for repairs, and they were both at the rear of the field. And many F1 fans felt that Sebastian Vettel was dealt with in a lenient manner, only receiving a 5-second time penalty, but let's not get into that debate again. Then 2 corners later, Ocon and Gasly, home favourites, collided, and they were both forced to retire. And of course you had about half a dozen cars running out wide on the exit of turns 3. It was just a manic first lap. And with a massive debris scattered onto the track, the safety car had to be deployed. At the end of the first lap, Carlos Sainz was running P3 for Renault, but he would soon drop behind Daniel Ricciardo, and late engine issues would prevent him from finishing in the top 6. In the closing stages of the Grand Prix, Williams' Lance Stroll had a spectacular puncture going into turns 10, and that brought out the virtual safety car with about 2 laps remaining. In other news, Vettel and Bottas both committed to overtakes, which would see them finish in the points. Kimi Raikkonen overtook Daniel Ricciardo late on in the race to steal P3 from the Honey Badger's grasp, and it would be Lewis Hamilton who cruised towards victory ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen. And once Vettel and Bottas were eliminated really from the race win, Lewis was just in utter cruise control, and he swam into the championship lead. I am not going to do a track master for the French Grand Prix because we haven't had enough races there to determine who is the best driver at that track. But I just want to quickly talk about Alfa Romeo. This team were contending for best of the rest in the championship in the early stages of the season, but since then they've literally had no pace, starting from the Spanish Grand Prix. And yeah, they are just really struggling at the moment, and they find themselves ninth in the constructors' standings, and that is really poor considering the progress they made as Sauber in 2018. I personally believe the issues with their car regards cornering speed. On the straights they are absolutely fine because of course they are aided by that Ferrari engine, but through the corners they just can't maximise their speed. And those issues with the car were evident at the Monaco Grand Prix, where they were fighting with Williams, which is utterly ridiculous. The team better hope that Kimi Raikkonen will carry his form from the French Grand Prix on Sunday last year to this year, because last year during the race Kimi was putting in some decent overtakes and did have some serious speed, and Alfa Romeo definitely need that at the moment. Pirelli will bring the C2, C3 and C4 compounds to the French Grand Prix, and I am a bit disappointed because I think they could have gone a bit more aggressive, considering that tyre strategies need to be a bit more lively at the moment. What I will say about the tyre selections is that Red Bull are definitely going to be looking at race pace on Max Verstappen's side of the garage. The Dutchman is taking more medium sets than any other driver, taking 4. In contrast, Ricciardo, Grosjean and Kvyat are only taking 1 set of the medium tyres. Interesting. But really you can see the general gist of things. All the drivers are taking a lot of the soft tyres, and that says to me that this weekend will be very low on tyre degradation, as no driver is taking more than 2 sets of the hard tyres. Now, my predictions. Now, after a strong race in Canada for Ferrari, you've kind of got to consider them for the French Grand Prix victory. However, Mercedes just seem to steal races from under Ferrari's noses, but for qualifying, I do think Ferrari will present themselves a good opportunity for the race with a 1-2 in qualifying, with Charles Leclerc taking his second Formula 1 pole position. If you remember, he was very much the king of qualifying last year, qualifying P8 in a Sauber. It was a mesmerising performance. And together with the pace of the Ferrari car down the straights, the engine is roaring and Mercedes cannot parallel that, so I think the combination of Leclerc and Ferrari will get them pole position. And you know what, I'm going to say Charles Leclerc is going to take his maiden Formula 1 victory at the French Grand Prix, with Lewis Hamilton in second and Sebastian Vettel rounding out the podium in third. My gut instinct tells me that this is going to be Leclerc's weekend finally, but in terms of the podium positions, I'm just not sure. I do think Lewis Hamilton is due a poor weekend some race soon, and it could be Austria, it could be Silverstone, it could be whenever, but I am going to say P2 for the moment because he just seems to be in fine form. I am going for Max Verstappen to take the fastest lap, but do not rule him out of a podium place this weekend, and don't rule out Valtteri Bottas either. I honestly think we are in for a storming race this weekend. But yeah, Leclerc maiden victory, my gut tells me, literally. But for my best of the rest predictions, after a brilliant Canadian Grand Prix, I cannot bet against Renault. I think they will translate that form in Canada to their home Grand Prix at Paul Ricard. And with his recent form, Daniel Ricciardo for me will finish best of the rest, with Sergio Perez in second and Nico Hülkenberg in third. Again, it could be anyone's game this weekend. It is honestly so tight, the midfield. But guys, that is it for today's preview. Please like this video, comment down below what you thought of this video, and please subscribe to the F1 Tube YouTube channel. It will be massively appreciated. I would like to get to 50 subscribers before the Austrian Grand Prix. A bit of a stretch, but I do believe we can achieve that aim. But guys, until next time, see you later.